Of all the players to use as a reference point for how Unai Emery plans to reshape the Arsenal midfield, Switzerland's Valone Behrami is not the most obvious candidate for the role. Yet against Brazil, the former Watford and West Ham utility man provided a service to Granit Xhaka that should not be overlooked in the debate over how to bring out the best in the 25-year-old at the Emirates. Not that he has been struggling of late. The final few weeks of the season saw him grow in stature and consistency as one of the best performers in the final days of Arsene Wenger's reign. He was rewarded with a new contract, and words of encouragement from the Frenchman's successor in the Arsenal dugout. "He's an important member of the squad and is still young, so will be able to develop even more," said Emery. "It's clear that the Spaniard will be expecting even more once he returns from the World Cup." Xhaka won't be the only player heading back to Arsenal after the tournament, but even including those already associated with the club, there is set to be another midfielder on his way to North London from Russia. Uruguay's Lucas Torreira is expected to sign for the Gunners and could be exactly what the deep-lying Swiss playmaker needs in a partner to unlock his true potential. His work as a ball winner and enforcer in the middle of the park for Sampdoria has already seen the 22-year-old compared to none other than N'Golo Kante, but it is the potential similarity with Behrami, or more importantly his relationship on the pitch with Xhaka, that is more instructive over how he could help out Arsenal's creative dreadnought. Lucas Torreira has been heavily linked with the move to Arsenal this summer. Image, Dan Mullen, Getty Images. Wenger was uncertain over what to do with him after he arrived from Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2016. In the Bundesliga he had built up a reputation as an excellent passer who patrolled the pitch in front of his backline, collecting and using the ball to unleash the players ahead of him. However, he was not a defensive player. Nor was he a holding midfielder. The dirty work was done by Havard Nordtveit, a more limited and more destructive player in the middle of the park. While the Norwegian got stuck in and closed down opponents, Xhaka sat back and dictated play. Behrami did a similar job next to him against Brazil, and was Kante-esque in his own way as he covered the ground of more than one player, chasing Neymar and denying the stars of Tite's team any time to think, let alone play. He was constantly rushing them as if he had taken it upon himself to prove that one man could do the pressing of a fully staffed midfield all by himself. No wonder he was eventually forced off injured. In his press conferences in the season he signed Xhaka, Wenger described him as a box-to-box midfielder, picking out his engine and power as his strengths, attributes that didn't exactly tally with what he was best at in the Bundesliga, where he made his name. He later went on to compare him to Santi Cazorla as he tried to sell the idea of playing him alongside Francis Coquelin. Despite the Frenchman's penchant for playing the policeman role, as Thierry Henry described his game, it wasn't a combination that worked. Xhaka likes to drop back between the lines of midfield and defense, exactly the same space that Coquelin liked to inhabit. They got in each other's way. Granit Xhaka and Francis Coquelin. Image, David Price, Arsenal FC via Getty Images. Eventually the French scrapper was tried in a slightly more advanced role as Xhaka stayed and sat only for his technical deficiencies to be exposed by the tighter margins that come with playing higher up the pitch. Torreira may be a terrier of a player, but he can keep and use the ball as well as win it. Behrami too is no slouch, even if his game is far from glamorous. In the game against Brazil he misplaced only 3 of his 44 passes. While these stats are a threat to the likes of Xavi, the Swiss international's job wasn't to soak up possession. That is Xhaka's responsibility. Neymar is challenged by Valone Behrami and Granit Xhaka. Image, Buda Mendes, Getty Images. Should Torreira arrive as Behrami's surrogate in an Arsenal shirt, the Gunners will still need another option in case of injury and rotation, which makes the contract extension of Ainsley Maitland-Niles such an exciting proposition. He may have made his first-team breakthrough as a left-back, but the 20-year-old's versatility belies the fact that he is currently a displaced midfielder. When he has been granted the chance to show what he is about in a more central role, he too has played with the industry required to hassle opponents while also being sensible with the ball. The FA Cup 5-0 win over Southampton 2 seasons ago, in which Maitland-Niles partnered Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in midfield, could one day go down as a foreshadowing of his future role for the club. While his partner burst forward like a box-to-box player, he won the ball and protected the defence. Emery has been happy to cover for players who deserve to be liberated due to their abilities on the ball. At Sevilla, he deployed Stefan Mbia and later Grzegorz Krychowiak to ensure Ever Banega and Steven Nzonzi could focus on dominating their ball or their opponents, respectively. Xhaka is a player capable of guarding spaces, but he also needs space of his own in order to play. He isn't particularly mobile. Like an artillery piece, he can do damage at range when is free to find his targets, but he needs a support crew in order to be put to proper use. That's where Barami comes in, and why Torreira, and maybe even Maitland-Niles, could give the Swiss a new lease of life for Arsenal under Unai Emery. Granit Xhaka, image, Sean Botterill, Getty Images. Keep up to date with the latest news, features and exclusive from Football London via the free Football London app for iPhone and Android. Available to download from the App Store and Google Play.